Yes, excretory products and their elimination. Part 3. Nearly how much percentage of the filtrate is reabsorbed by the renal tubule? 70 to 80%, 85%, 99%, 90%. So 99% out of 180 liters is going to be reabsorbed by the renal tubules. Choose the correct statement about absorption in renal tubule from the following. Glucose, amino acid and sodium reabsorbed actively. Nitrogenous waste are absorbed by passive transport. 70 to 80% of electrolyte and water are absorbed in PCT. All the above. So renal tubule from the following: glucose and amino acid, sodium reabsorbed actively. Okay. Nitrogenous waste absorbed by passive transport. Okay. How much it requires, that only transport absorbed over. 70 to 80% of water and electrolyte balance are absorbed in the PCT. That's true. Tubular secretion, augmentation, tubular secretion helps in ionic balance of body fluid, acid base balance of body fluid, both A and B. None of these. To maintain the ionic balance of the body fluid or acid base balance of the body fluid, we secrete some substances like bile salts, oxalate, H plus ion, potassium ions are going to be secreted here into the lumen of tubule. Which of the following is an incorrect statement about filtration? Selective process, non-selective process, performed by glomerulus. It occurs through the usage of capillary blood pressure. So asking about ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration is a selective process, non-selective process. If it is a selective process, we don't filter glucose, water, that some other useful substances into the renal fluid in the neck of Bowman's capsule, that we are not going to. So it is a selective process. To say it is incorrect, because accepting blood proteins like albumin and globulin and RBC, WBC, they are bigger one. That's why they don't come. But remaining glucose, amino acid, vitamin, mineral, we want them, but that we are also dumping them into the renal tubule, and after that putting efforts to absorb, how to absorb them in PCT, descending, ascending, and in the DCT we made some efforts to absorb them back again. So that we can say it's an incorrect statement about the filtration. It's a non-selective process. Useful substances, high threshold we say, that non-useful substances means A threshold, that are all dumped into the renal tubule. It is performed by glomerulus. Okay. It occurs through the usage of capillary blood pressure. Yeah, glomerular blood capillary pressure created by diameter difference between the afferent and efferent arteriole facilitate them. Which of the following is incorrect about PCT? Lined with simple cuboidal brush border epithelium. Yes, lined with simple cuboidal brush border epithelium. All essential nutrients, 70 to 80% of the electrolyte and water are reabsorbed here. Yes, it helps in the pH and maintenance of body fluid by selective secretion of H plus ion and by the absorption of bicarbonate ion. Okay, it does not help in the maintenance of ionic balance of body fluid. Selective secretion is itself helpful for the maintenance of ionic balance and acid base balance. So that is incorrect. Which of the following part has minimum reabsorption? PCT, Henle's loop, DCT and collecting duct. Maximum we can say 70 to 80% water and electrolytes are going to be in the PCT. In the descending limb, water absorption occurs, but in the ascending limb it is permeable to only ions. In that way they selected Henle's loop. And in the DCT and collecting duct, conditional water reabsorption occur under the presence of ADH hormone. Select the total number of correct statements about the loop of Henle. Descending limb is permeable to water. Correct statement they are asking. Loop of Henle, descending limb is permeable to water. Okay, descending limb is almost impermeable to electrolyte. Okay. Ascending limb is impermeable to water. Okay. It allows the transport of electrolyte only actively. Only actively, need to think. At the tip of loop of Henle, the concentration of the filtrate is 1200 milliosmol per liter. At the tip of loop of Henle, the concentration of filtrate is 1200 milliosmol per liter. It helps in the maintenance of high osmolarity in medullary interstitium. It helps in the maintenance of high osmolarity in the medullary interstitium. So here we don't have clarity with these two. That is let me show you. And let me take it. Allows the transport of electrolyte only actively, and at the tip of loop of Henle, the concentration of the filtrate is 1200 milliosmol. Here we have little controversy in this area. So when you take the Henle's loop, in the descending limb of Henle's loop, here it is 300 milliosmol in the beginning. When it reaches to the tip of the loop of Henle, tip means if you take, this is the base and this is the tip, here it maximum it reaches to 1200 milliosmol, and then if it is the tip, in the question asked over, if it is the tip, by the absorption of salts, it again become 300 milliosmol. Only we are absorbing salts here. Due to the absorption of salts, what happens? Again it reaches to 300 milliosmol. So in that way, they consider this as a wrong statement. Okay, that I consider that as a wrong statement. Okay, next question. Which segment helps in the pH maintenance of the body fluid? Which segment help in the pH maintenance of body fluid? That all are going to do this, isn't it? PCT, DCT, collecting duct, all are going to do. DCT helps in conditional reabsorption of sodium and water and bicarbonate absorption, pH maintenance, selective secretion of H plus and potassium. Yes, all of these. DCT helps in the conditional reabsorption of sodium and water in the presence of ADH. Bicarbonate absorption, pH maintenance, selective secretion of H plus and potassium. Which of the following segment allow the passage of small amount of urea into modularly interstitium to keep up the osmolarity? Moderately. Here it is, you need to understand this is moderately. So moderately, which of the following segment allow the passage of small amount of urea into, okay, I think in the print mistake it is in the medullary interstitium, that they want to say it as a medullary interstitium. Medullary interstitium. Okay. Small amount of urea into the medullary interstitium to keep up the osmolarity, that is collecting duct. At which place we initially used the term urine for filtrate? PCT, DCT, Henle's loop, collecting duct. Actually urine, the word we use from Bowman's capsule onwards, but we say it as primary urine. Glomerular filtrate or primary urine. The actual urine after all the absorption. So that means collecting duct. At the end, after the 99% water absorption, the remaining we can call it as collecting duct. Counter current mechanism is present in. Counter current mechanism is present in Henle's loop, vasa recta, both A and B, and distal convoluted tubule. Henle's loop and vasa recta both are in counter current pattern. Means that the descending limb of Henle's loop, the flow of renal fluid in the descending limb of Henle's loop and flow of renal fluid in the ascending limb of Henle's loop are in counter current pattern. And also we can say in the blood, here it is blood, in the blood, flow of renal, that blood in the descending limb of Henle's loop and flow of blood in the ascending limb of Henle's loop They are on counter current pattern. So what we say in this regard, this is counter current and this is counter current. Itself both ascending and descending limb of Henle's loop and vasa recta are in counter current fashion, and this descending limb of Henle's loop is opposite to the ascending limb of vasa recta in the flow. That descending limb of vasa recta is opposite to the ascending limb of Henle's loop in the flow. So we call it as counter current mechanism. So what's our answer? Both A and B, Henle's loop and vasa recta. Which of the following is incorrect about the counter current mechanism? The flow of filtrate in two limbs of vasa recta in opposite direction. Let us see the flow of fluid opposite in the two limbs of vasa recta in opposite direction. The flow of blood in two limbs of vasa recta is also in opposite direction. Flow of filtrate in two limbs of, I think here we should write Henle's loop, isn't it? Henle's loop. Flow of fluid in the Henle's loop also in opposite direction. Flow of blood in the two limbs of vasa recta is also in opposite direction. The sodium chloride is transported by the ascending limb of Henle's loop, which is exchanged with the descending limb of vasa recta. Sodium chloride, we need incorrect statement here. We need to get incorrect statement. So, sodium chloride is transported by the ascending limb of Henle's loop, which is exchanged with the descending limb of vasa recta. Sodium chloride is returned to the interstitium by ascending portion of vasa recta. So among these we need to find out the incorrect statement. The flow of filtrate in two limbs of vasa recta is in opposite direction. Here what is need to be present? Henle's loop. So that's why that given vasa recta, so that is wrong. Counter current mechanism maintains the concentration gradient in the medullary interstitium. It helps in counter current mechanism maintain the concentration gradient in the medullary interstitium. It helps in easy passage of water from PCT, easy passage of water from DCT, easy passage of water from Henle's loop, easy passage of water from collecting duct. So talking about Henle's loop, so counter current mechanism maintain the concentration gradient in the medullary interstitium. It helps in easy passage of water from Henle's loop, easy passage of water from collecting duct. So need to check here. Easy passage of water from Henle's loop, easy passage of water from collecting duct. So counter current mechanism is, actually we have to say here, easy absorption of water from Henle's loop to where it is going? To vasa recta. So that's why we need to go for that answer itself, easy passage of water from Henle's loop. So here it is not the answer that we have to say here, this is going to be the answer. Easy passage of water from Henle's loop. Total filtrate formed in 24 hours in human kidney is 1.8 liter, 8.0 liter, 18 liter, 180 liter. That's it. 24 hours total filtrate in 24 hours in the human kidney, we have to say 125 ml per minute. The filtration 125 ml per minute. So in that way we can say 180 liter per day. Which of the following is most likely to cause an increase in the glomerular filtration rates?